When you think of strong items in video games, you usually think of items that like have a bunch of damage to them. Or what about items that deal damage to your game instead of you? What would you say is a stronger weapon? A weapon that does like a certain amount of damage, like 40 damage? Or a weapon that literally crashes your game? And judging by how I'm voicing this, you could probably tell which one I'm thinking of. That's right, this single piece of wood can crash your game. And here's how, basically. That's it. You just place it down. It's literally that simple. Now, you must be thinking, how does this work and how can I use it to my advantage? And if you're thinking that last part, congratulations, you're my favorite. Now, I first learned about this like around a year ago. The YouTuber named DKMCC123 had a very weird item. It was an acacia sapling, and whenever I placed it on his island, I crashed. Like, instantly. And I was curious, but I didn't really ask him about it. Looking back, I should have, considering that he quit. But yeah, it was a strange item. I was thinking about making a video about it, but I was like, nah, it's probably going to get patched soon. And here we are, 1 year later, and it still works. Now, although this may be a spoiler for later on in the video, this glitch was found, what, almost 8 years ago? Now, I just think it's funny to think how, when this happened, I was 6 years old. And speaking of old, if you're tired of living that boring old life like me, you should consider subscribing so you can get notified whenever I post a new video, so maybe your life won't be as boring as it once was. Anyways, join me on my journey and with me trying to figure out how this works and how to get more, because I want to capitalize on this. Now, at first I was thinking about like Google searching this, but surely something this complex wouldn't be as simple as a Google search, so I ended up asking the one thing that drew me here to the first place. Donkey Kong Minecraft 123. I don't think that's his name, but you get the point. Basically, he quit like a month ago, and he said he wasn't going to log back on, but he said to ask some other people. I remember like a year ago, I did like a bunch of detective stuff, but I quit just because it wasn't fun anymore, and now here I am 1 year later doing the exact same thing. But instead of looking at a person, it's now a sapling. Anyways, I asked Rice Blades, and it went as well as you could expect. No, like, surprisingly, he actually gave me the item and helped me research this. Although, in order for me to get the item, he had to, like, get a middleman for it, and it was pretty funny. Anyways, now that I actually have the Crash Acacia, it's time to test it, and yes, it works. Now, after obtaining the item, I can actually try to find out how this actually works, and how to obtain more of it. Now, after looking at some old forum posts that shows you how to make it, it still thankfully works. Basically, from what I can understand in Minecraft, each log is like a log, if that makes sense. Like, each log in the code is known as a log with some numbers after it, and said numbers control the type of log and direction. And since Minecraft has a 16 value limit, when they made the new logs, Dark Oak and Acacia, they made a new block in the code called log2. And log2 just stores those two types of logs, while the other log, or log1, stores the rest of the logs. Oh my god, I've said log like 50 times. Anyways, in a nutshell, Acacia, or the type of wood that actually crashes your game, is part of the log2 code. And since the log2 value isn't filled up to the max, that means you could type in some values and they won't work. For example, if I typed out /giveusemonday log1, I'll get an oak log, but if I typed in giveusemonday log1 space 2, I'll get a birch log. And to add on to that, if I type in /giveusemonday log1 space 6, I'll get a birch log that always faces up. And these names are used as data values, so like the game actually understands like what block is what type of block, if that makes sense. So cool, I explained how logs work, but like how does this crash you? Well, the thing about log2 is that since some of the values just don't work, when you place it down, it'll crash you. And to actually obtain one of these crash logs, all you have to do is type out /give player name log2 space 1 space 2. And then you'll get an item that says oak log with no texture, but if you place it down, it will crash your game. Let me get that clear, that was not an oak log, that was either, or as what Minecraft says, an acacia or dark oak. Yeah, I think you get it. I just wanted to avoid saying the L word. Don't spam that in my comments, please. So now you might be thinking, cool, I know how to get the log, but how do I actually get it on Hypixel SkyBlock? Because fun fact, you guys can't use admin commands. So if you do /sb dev and if you have SB, you actually find like the code for the items. Long story short, I spent a couple million just getting random null blocks and seeing if they're the same one. Spoiler alert, they weren't. I have a null that's literally just a fishing rod, and it does fish, but you also can't enchant it. It's the weirdest fishing rod I have. Anyways, while I was doing my test, I decided to do one thing, and that was to actually place down the crash block on my island. The thing is that the crash is client-sided, meaning that if you place it on someone else's island, it doesn't register that you placed it, and it'll also crash you. Same thing if you're on the single player world. If you try placing it down, it'll crash you, and since your world is client-sided, it just won't place down. But since Hypixel SkyBlock servers, aren't running on your computer, what would happen if you placed it down? And I did. And when I came back, I noticed that the crash acacia was missing from my inventory. And when I looked, I just saw an acacia block just standing there taunting me. So I did what anyone would do in that situation. I beat the living sh- and woohoo, I got the block back. Yeah, this actually scared me a bunch. But a cool little fun fact what I found out is that when I placed it down, I placed it on its side. But when I went up, it wasn't on its side, instead it was simply standing face up, meaning that the crash acacia's value that I got was probably 1. I think. Now, as I was saying, we know how it works and how it works in SkyBlock, but how do you actually get it? After so much trial and error, I just tried everything I could, but nothing would work. Until I had one little idea. What if I just searched it on Google and huzzah, it was on the wiki this whole time? Yeah, apparently daylight and night sensors had a bug where like if you place something underneath them, it will change the data value of that block. Sadly, this glitch was patched, but that just means that the item that I got is exclusive and you can't get it anymore, so yeah, I guess that's pretty cool. I don't know how to feel, I just feel like an exotic owner. Dear god. Still though, in case the admins are watching, which I doubt, here's someone's reaction to getting kicked. I somehow convinced Calvin to place it down, he placed it down, and this happens. It's a pretty cool block, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
How do you rate that block?
A 10 out of 10. That's great.
Yeah, so for this to work, you had to have the person willingly place it down, and if it crashes, it's not like it'll do too much, so admins, if you're watching at me, please don't ban me. And on the flip side, if you have any other weird items, just send me a DM on Discord, and maybe I can make a video of it. Anyways, see you guys next month.